My name is Erica Long, and I am 34 years old. There was a time when my body did exactly what I asked of it. In college, I was a competitive swimmer. Nothing Olympic, nothing glamorous, but disciplined, relentless. My days revolved around laps, breath control, muscle memory. I trusted my body, and it trusted me. Then life changed. After graduation, I founded a software company. It took off faster than I ever expected, but success came with a price. Long hours, endless pressure, meals eaten at my desk, sleep sacrificed for deadlines. Somewhere along the way, the discipline I had in the pool didn't follow me into the boardroom. Over 10 years, the weight crept on. Not a little. Enough that mirrors started feeling like quiet judges. Enough that I avoided photos. Enough that I knew I had lost something important. Not just physically, but internally. For the last 2 years, I had been dating Daniel. Daniel is a fitness influencer. His life is perfectly framed, literally. Every meal, every workout, every stretch of sunlight is curated for his brand. Health isn't just what he does, it's who he sells. We live together in my house. I bought it after my company succeeded. The agreement was simple. We split daily expenses and I covered the mortgage. I didn't mind. I thought we were building something together. I supported his career even when it felt hollow to me. I told myself I was being mature, that I was the stable one behind the scenes. What I didn't realize was that behind the scenes was exactly where he wanted me to stay. Daniel's gym wasn't really a gym, it was a stage. A high-end, trendy place where mirrors outnumbered squat racks and lighting mattered more than effort. He spent hours there every day, not training so much as documenting the idea of training. I had been thinking about getting healthy again for a while, about reclaiming the version of myself I missed. And I thought, maybe naively, that joining his gym could be something we shared. One night, I brought it up while I was cooking dinner. "Hey," I said casually, "I've been thinking about finally joining your gym. I really need to take my health seriously, and it could be kind of nice to work out together sometimes." He stopped scrolling. The look on his face wasn't excitement, it was panic. Daniel set his phone down and walked over to me slowly, his voice dropping into a soft, careful tone, the kind you use when you're trying not to embarrass someone. "Babe," he said, smiling too hard, "I love that you want to get healthy. That's great. Really." He paused. "But my gym is kind of my office. It's where I build my brand." I kept waiting for the supportive part. He took a breath. "So if you do join," he continued, "I need you to do me a favor. Just act like you don't know me there." I blinked. "You're a little overweight," he added gently, "and it would embarrass me." The words didn't echo. They didn't explode. They just settled. "You're a little overweight, and it would embarrass me." It wasn't just an insult, it was a verdict. In that moment, I understood exactly how he saw me, not as his partner, not as someone rebuilding herself, but as a risk, a liability, something that could damage his image if displayed too closely. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't cry. My mind did what it always does when something fails. It analyzed. The relationship hadn't broken in that moment. It had already been broken. I was just finally seeing the cracks. I looked at him, nodded once. "Okay," I said evenly, "I understand." Relief washed over his face. "Thank you," he said, patting my arm. "You're being really mature about this." He had no idea what he had just done. He thought he had protected his brand. What he didn't realize was that he had just given me clarity. And clarity is dangerous. I didn't join Daniel's gym. The morning after he handed me my official notice of irrelevance, I woke up before my alarm. The house was quiet. Daniel was still asleep, one arm flung across my side of the bed like ownership instead of affection. I lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying his words, not with hurt, but with precision. "Embarrass me." That single phrase told me everything I needed to know. I've built companies from nothing. When something doesn't work, I don't waste time arguing with it. I diagnose. I isolate the flaw. Then I rebuild from scratch. So instead of signing up for his gym, I opened my laptop. If Daniel's problem with me was association, then the solution was obvious. I needed a new one, a powerful one he couldn't ignore. Daniel had a rival. Her name was Valerie Stone. Valerie wasn't Instagram polished like him. She didn't post thirst traps and pastel workout sets. She posted videos of herself lifting brutal weight, correcting form, breaking down biomechanics. She was a former professional athlete with real certifications, real clients, and a reputation for being absolutely unforgiving. Daniel hated her. Publicly, he dismissed her as too intense. Privately, he stalked her engagement metrics like a nervous tick. Valerie represented everything he wasn't: substance over aesthetics, results over performance. I spent 2 days doing a deep dive on her, not emotionally, logically. I studied her social media growth curves, her client retention rates, her monetization gaps. Valerie had a problem. She was trading time for money. One client, 1 hour, one paycheck. Brilliant at what she did, terrible at scaling. That's where I came in. I drafted a 10-page proposal: market analysis, revenue projections, brand positioning, execution roadmap. I didn't pitch fitness. I pitched transformation, not just of the body, but of narrative. Then I reached out, not as a client, as a partner. We met at a quiet coffee shop across town. Valerie showed up in plain black athletic wear, hair pulled back, eyes sharp. She didn't smile much. I didn't waste time. I told her who I was: former athlete, tech founder, out of shape, motivated, disciplined, funded. I want to rebuild myself, I said, publicly, completely, and I want to turn it into a business. She raised an eyebrow. I slid the proposal across the table. 3 months. Exclusive training contract. I'd pay double her highest private rate. We'd document everything: workouts, setbacks, failures, progress, professional camera crew, cinematic production. I'd be the case study. She'd be the authority. We'd launch a premium online program together. I'd handle platform development, marketing, payments, infrastructure. She'd do what she did best: transform bodies. 50-50 partnership. Valerie leaned back, reading silently. The skepticism on her face slowly gave way to curiosity, then interest. "And why me?" she asked finally. "Because you're real," I said. "And because the story works." She smiled, sharp, knowing. "And Daniel?" she asked. I didn't hesitate. "He's a data point," I said calmly. "Nothing more." Valerie laughed once, short and delighted. "I'm in," she said. "When do we start?" "The sooner the better." We started the next morning. Assessments first. Body composition, mobility, strength baselines. The numbers were brutal. I was weaker than I'd been in 15 years. Slower, stiffer, older. But for the first time in a long time, I felt something ignite. At home, I played my part perfectly. I told Daniel he was right, that his gym wasn't the right environment for me, that I'd just try to eat better and go for walks. He kissed my forehead like a benevolent king granting mercy. He didn't notice the new gym bag in my car. He didn't question why I started going to bed at 9 p.m. He didn't ask why my alarm was suddenly set for 4:45 a.m. He believed the problem had been solved. The following Monday was day 1. We weren't training at his polished temple of mirrors. Valerie had access to an old-school weightlifting gym across town, concrete floors, iron plates, sweat-stained walls, a place built for work, not appearances. Our session was scheduled for 5:30 a.m., but before that, I had one final detail to take care of. I knew Daniel's routine. He never went to the gym early. He went at 10 a.m., when the lighting was perfect and the crowd was thin. So that morning, I sent him a gift. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., a specialty coffee truck parked directly outside his gym. The sign on the side read, "Compliments of Valerie Stone Fitness, fueling real workouts." It was petty. It was unnecessary. And it was perfect. By the time Daniel walked through those doors, irritated and off balance, the stage would already be set. All I had to do now was work. The first week of the Phoenix Project nearly destroyed me. Not metaphorically, physically. By the second morning, my legs felt like they had been filled with wet cement. My shoulders burned constantly, even at rest. Every time I lowered myself onto a chair, my body hesitated, like it didn't trust me anymore. Valerie didn't care. She watched my form with ruthless precision, correcting me mid-rep, adding weight when my instinct screamed no. She didn't flatter. She didn't soften the truth. "You're strong," she said once, tightening my stance before a squat, "but you've been lazy with it." That stung, and it motivated me more than encouragement ever could. The camera crew was there for everything. Every shake, every grimace, every moment I had to sit on the floor pretending not to feel like I might throw up. There was no hiding, no angles, no filters. I hated it. I loved it. This wasn't about looking good. This was about earning something back. By the 4th day, I couldn't lift my arms without pain. By the 5th, something shifted. The soreness was still there, but underneath it was a familiar rhythm. Breath, effort, focus. The swimmer in me stirred, annoyed at how long she'd been ignored. At home, Daniel remained blissfully unaware. He complained about the coffee truck outside his gym nonstop, about how tacky it was, how Valerie was desperate for attention. He ranted while scrolling through his comments, completely missing the fact that I was eating measured portions of grilled chicken and vegetables instead of sharing wine and takeout with him. I went to bed early, every night. He didn't notice. On Friday, he made a joke about how I seemed tired lately. He kissed my cheek and told me I should really consider yoga if I wanted something more my pace. I smiled. By the end of the first week, my body was wrecked, but my mind was razor sharp. We had been planning the reveal carefully. Timing mattered. Visibility mattered. Impact mattered. Valerie had access to a private training studio inside the gym, a glass-walled room reserved for high-profile clients. We booked it for Monday morning at 10 a.m. Daniel's time. I knew exactly how he'd walk in, what he'd wear, where he'd stand, where he'd set up his phone. Sunday night, I barely slept. Not from nerves, from anticipation. Monday morning came fast. At 5:30 a.m., I deadlifted more weight than I thought I could. Valerie nodded once, satisfied. The cameras captured everything. The strain, the breath, the quiet moment after where I stood there, hands on my knees, refusing to collapse. "You're ready," she said. At 9:45 a.m., we relocated to the glass studio. The lighting was perfect. Clean, sharp, unforgiving. The crew adjusted microphones and lenses. At 10:02 a.m., I saw him. Daniel walked in laughing, flanked by two of his friends. He was wearing a new outfit, bright and loud, designed to be noticed. His confidence was automatic, practiced. He headed straight for his usual spot by the mirrors. Then his eyes drifted. He froze. Inside the glass studio, I was mid-set, red-faced, sweating, lifting heavy with Valerie standing close, focused entirely on me. The cameras moved smoothly around us, capturing angles he would have paid thousands to control. For a second, he didn't recognize me. Then he did. The smile vanished from his face so fast it was almost comical. I finished the set and let the weight drop with a solid clang that echoed through the gym. I stood upright, chest heaving, and looked straight at him through the glass. I didn't smile. I didn't wave. I gave him the smallest nod, polite, distant, dismissive. The same nod you give someone who no longer matters. Then I turned back to Valerie. "What's next?" I asked. Daniel stood there for a full minute, unmoving. His friends whispered. Someone pointed. The cameras caught everything. Finally, he turned and walked out. The glass wall reflected his exit perfectly. The footage was beautiful. The house was silent when I got home that night. Not the comfortable kind of silence, the sharp, waiting kind. The kind that presses against your skin and tells you someone has been rehearsing an argument. Daniel was sitting on the couch, arms crossed, jaw tight. His phone was face down beside him, which told me everything. He had already watched the clips circulating through the gym group chats. He had already imagined the comments. "What was that today?" he demanded the moment I set my gym bag down. I didn't rush my answer. I took off my shoes, hung up my jacket. "What was what?" I asked calmly. He stood. "Don't do that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You, Valerie, cameras, at my gym." His voice cracked on the last word. "You did that to humiliate me." I looked at him then, really looked. For the first time, he didn't seem large, or important, or impressive. He seemed small, cornered. "No," I said evenly. "I did that for me." His mouth opened, then closed. "You told me to act like I didn't know you at your gym," I continued, "because my presence would embarrass you. So I found a different gym, and a trainer who wasn't ashamed to be seen with me." He shook his head. "That's not what I meant." "It's exactly what you meant," I replied, "and I followed your instructions perfectly." Silence. The logic landed cleanly. No emotion to deflect, no accusation to twist, just cause and effect. "This isn't about you," I added. "It never was. You were just the variable that exposed the problem." That night, I slept better than I had in months. The next morning, the first teaser for the Phoenix project dropped on Valerie's social media. It opened with raw footage, me exhausted, heavier, honest. My voiceover wasn't polished. "I didn't lose myself all at once," I said in the video. "I just stopped choosing myself." Then it cut to training. Sweat, strain, focus. No filters, no music engineered for virality, just effort. The final frame faded to black. Rebuilding from the inside out. The Phoenix Project. Coming soon. It spread faster than we expected. People shared it, commented, tagged friends, messaged me directly. People I hadn't spoken to in years telling me they felt seen. Daniel's content, by contrast, started to feel hollow. Comments appeared under his posts. Why aren't you supporting Erica? Isn't that your girlfriend training with Valerie? That transformation looks real. Yours feels staged. He tried to ignore it. He couldn't. 2 weeks into the project, I asked him to sit down. He smiled nervously, like this was a conversation he still believed he could control. I think we need to talk, I said. His expression shifted. I told him the relationship was over. I explained, calmly, precisely, that what he had said wasn't a mistake. It was a statement of values. And those values no longer aligned with the life I was building. I handed him a printed 30-day notice to move out. His name wasn't on the deed. Our finances were informal. Legally, it was clean. Emotionally, he unraveled. He cried, he yelled, he apologized, he said he was stressed, that he hadn't meant it like that I was overreacting. I didn't argue. I didn't comfort him. I told him the decision was final. The next 3 months passed in a blur. I trained like someone chasing herself. The weight dropped. Strength returned. Confidence followed. But more than that, my posture changed. My voice. My presence. At the end of the 3 months, we launched. The Phoenix Project went live. Thousands of subscriptions in the first week. It worked. I worked. A few weeks later, I saw Daniel at the grocery store. He was in the frozen food aisle. Smaller apartment energy, smaller life. He looked tired. He saw me, really saw me, and didn't recognize me at first. Then he did. He looked away. I felt nothing. Not anger, not triumph, just peace. He had been embarrassed by who I was. I had invested in who I could become. In the end, we both got exactly what we wanted.